Hey, everybody.
Oh, wait,
Oops.
there you are. I
I'm
was
just
like,
joking.
what?
It's Monday. How's everybody doing? How's your week starting out? I'm Mel. I'm here with my good friend, Rachelle. How's it going, Rachelle?
It's going well. It's great weather today. It's a good start to the week. Although I did confuse myself this morning because I have a calendar. Coincidentally, it's a cat a day calendar in my kitchen, and I always, you have the routine and you turn it. And I just happened to see it, and I went, "Oh, wow! I never changed this from Monday." And then I realized, from the weekend, and I realized, oh wait, today's Monday. So yeah, I don't know. It's like,
It,
where did the weekend
how's
go?
for real? I had a great weekend. How about you?
Yeah, I did some walking. I had to think what I did. I did some reading. I did spend some time reading, and I think I took a nap. So I tried to focus on some things that did not involve work, but I was pretty busy on Saturday. I had a couple of meetings and recorded with Dan Kreiness. We record a monthly
Oh,
podcast. So we
yeah.
did that on Saturday afternoon, and had a couple of other meetings throughout the day. So it was good. How about you?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. I went off the grid for a little bit. We went to a camping ground where our friends were, and we didn't camp. But now my husband has the bug in him, so probably we'll go camping. It's nice in the daytime here, and it's beautiful today. Like it's sunny, but it gets
Yeah.
cold at night. Like it still gets freezing, and so I'm not really. I told him that I would hang out at the campsite because it's not too far away from our home, but I would probably not spend the night because we don't have a camper where there's
Mm.
no glamping. We will be in a tent, and I don't know if I can do that. But it
Yeah.
was a good weekend, and I really did. I wasn't online hardly. I had a really good weekend. I started watching this Netflix show. It's called The Circle, and it's about social media, and it's a game. It's a reality television game about social media. I don't know if anybody out there has seen it, but I am addicted. Oh, look, Jillian, my organized
Hey,
friend.
Jillian. Yeah.
I am not organized. We all know this, but now, yeah. But yes, we have a really great guest coming on today.
We
How about you
do.
introduce him to us? So
I
excited.
I know, me too. And I will tell you that there is a little bit of a lag with your audio to me, or maybe me to you. So at first I thought I was frozen, but I wasn't. So just letting you know, if I don't answer you right away, that's probably why. So yeah, so our guest is Don Wettrick, who is a lot of different things. He's an author, he's an educator, he's a co-founder, president, you name it. He's got a lot. You can read it on there, but he's also a friend. And I got to meet him, gosh, I don't know how many years ago that was now. It might have been 5 at Summer Spark officially, and just connected. I talk about him all the time whenever I talk about project-based learning. Any chance that I get, I'm like, oh yeah, I sent a message to Dawn on Facebook thinking maybe a couple of months, he could talk to my class. He was like, yeah, how about tomorrow morning? I was like, all right. So he is an all-around great guy, does a lot of great work with students. So I am happy to have Dawn here with us today.
Hello.
Hello.
Fan of the show. Every now and then I've even messaged during the show, so I'm excited to be here with you today.
Yeah, definitely excited to have you, and glad that you're taking the time to join us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background, all the things. Look, you've started so many things. Tell us about, you were telling us a cool story before we went on air. So even though it's at the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end of the school year, like there's still a lot of opportunity in your world.
Yeah, actually it's funny. So like almost everything I've done in the last 10 years has revolved around a single email, and the email just said, you got to see this or watch this. And it was a link to the TED Talk of Dan Pink. And in that now famous TED Talk, he talks about what motivates people, master autonomy and purpose. So I watched that during my lunch period, and I immediately send it. I immediately want to have my students watch it right after they get back from lunch. I'm like, what do you guys think? And they're like, it's okay. Neat concept. I'm like, okay, what if I did the things that he talked about? What if I gave you, and again, there wasn't a genius hour quite yet. And obviously the whole 20% time was what he talked about as a business concept. But I'm like, hey, what if I give you 20% of our class time? So one day a week, I let you identify what you want to learn or what you want to work on. And I started that after spring break, which is either the dumbest idea or the most brilliant. And really within that first year, it was both, because among my more academically minded, they were like, how am I going to get graded? Are you sure? How am I going to get an A? And some of my kids that were less academically inclined were like, oh, are you serious? Because I want to do this. And so a new path was started, and we got a lot of feedback, and it ended up being a class. We were reaching the students that, again, weren't on the traditional sense, but they started doing really, really cool things. And so I asked to have my own class. We ended up calling it Innovation and Open Source Learning. Hilarity ensued, and then some other projects came out of it. And yeah, it just kind of took off from there.
That is really cool. Have you followed up with any of those students? Like, did they especially, oh, I don't know what happened. She'll come back. But the students that you were saying that were maybe not as high on the academics, like, did you ever follow up with them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Matter of fact, I owe quite a bit of gratitude towards them, because in a lot of ways, some of the things they did do, or the lessons that we learned on what they didn't do, later eventually, you know, like I said, got us that yes to getting our own class. Because again, like, the whole thing was like, I'll give you one period a week, and really it was like a 20 to 30 minute kind of thing. And you know, yeah, the things that they did or didn't do, I end up following, you know, and I still keep in touch with quite a few of them. A couple of things that, yeah, we're just in some cases lucky breaks, but we struck a nerve with a lot of people, which ironically enough, and this is a kind of a segue, we struck a nerve with entrepreneurs. When I said the less academically minded, okay, those were entrepreneurs, and the students that liked learning by trial and error. Well, trial and error means you're going to get a C or a D or an F. And that resonated with these kids, because I didn't grade them on, okay, this blew up in my face. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Let's reflect on it. And so, yeah. So yes, that was a long answer. I'm sorry, but yes, I still follow up with a lot of students from the early days, and owe a lot of gratitude towards them.
Yeah. Did it kind of change their minds about how they thought about school and about life?
In some cases, it's
a deep question.
Well, it's in some cases it hurt their opinion of school, and quite frankly, we started, you know, following and listening to people like Seth Godin, who was really questioning, like, why are you here, and why are you memorizing things that you can get all the answers from here? And so, in some cases, like, grades in other classes went down a little bit, because they were like, okay, this is my thing. Like, I'm going to work on this. So I think I ended up writing this in the book. Like, eventually an innovation student started looking like kind of like a Marine looks like a Marine. Really big guys get leaner, and really small guys get bigger. And then eventually a Marine looks like a Marine, weirdly. I mean, it's amazing how Marines all have the same build. An innovation student, that D and F student, starts getting some more C's, but that A student started to put their priorities in some other things. So we kind of met in the middle.
That's really interesting. I love that. I mean, I could talk about grades and the power of not grading for quite a while here. What would you, and we're kind of, we talked about how you started this at the end of the year. So what would you tell educators who are like, they're just super tired, like, this is a rough year? You know, but maybe is it too late to do anything super fun or super innovative?
It's hedging your bets in some ways, because if it doesn't work out, they're almost out of here. A, but B, it's the time where all of a sudden you start loosening some, like, hey, you're wanting to have a little fun. It might be that time to say, what if? Now, follow through is a different story, and that also is the hard part. Like, you know, if you can get students to do anything after spring break, you're a miracle worker kind of thing. But at the same time, like, if they started identifying what they might want to work on, that could be your avenue. But I do want to take two steps back and say, that's why this is really hard. The culture of school is the culture of compliance. And I mean that in a loving way, a totally loving way, because you have if-then scenarios. If I sit down and be quiet and I'm a good boy or good girl, you'll give me then these grades. And now I'm telling you to work independently, to talk to other people, to, collaborate and be noisy, well, that's a totally different thing. And so that culture of school might get in the way of innovation. But if you're in those last couple of weeks of school, maybe that culture is a little different. Expectations are different. So it might be the best time to start it.
I always think that this time of the year is great for trying anything new, because I figure, what have you got to lose? I mean, you have the summer to think about, like, yeah, you know what, that was not the best idea that I could have tried. Or, I mean, what I've done in the past too is I've had students do some activities or whatever, and then I have a way for them to give me some feedback, whether it's a survey, it might have been a Flipgrid. We use Voxer for that a couple of times. But then I know that we've been doing project-based learning now for, well, we didn't do it actually this year, but 5 years. But I've done Genius Hour. And last year when schools closed, with my STEAM students especially, like, they didn't have devices or anything. And so I just decided at the end of the year, when was April and May, we're going to do Genius Hour. And for a lot of students, that was tough, because what am I supposed to study? What am I supposed to build? What's it supposed to be? And I had this kid, Melody, I might have told this story before too, about Flipgrid. He recorded a video where he just started to look around his house to see what he had. Do you remember? And he recorded, he's walking around, he's eating an apple, and he's like, yeah, I grabbed all of these things. And he was trying to build this like backpack that had a cooling system in it. So whenever he walked to school on hot days, it would cool him, and it would also keep anything that was in it, you know, from melting or whatever. But he actually built something from all of the stuff that he just found in his house. And at first he thought, like, yeah, this is probably not what I'm supposed to do. I said, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Like, what can you create? And then he wanted to keep working through it. But for some students, it's hard because they want to see that end. Like, I'm done, I'm over, it's over, there's nowhere to go. But then some students, once they get into it enough, they're like, my student said, I stopped caring about the points and the grades. Like, I just want to know, where am I going to go next with this? So hopefully you heard me, because I know I froze.
Just for like 1 second. But yeah.
Okay.
No, these are all great things to bring up, because probably the number one thing I was asked by teachers, not even students, was, how do you grade a Genius Hour project? And, you know, I went through several different variances, because, again, like, my class ended up being a Genius Hour class. That's what we did for the year. And there's several things to unpack there. But, like, you know, in a lot of ways, self-evaluations and them telling you, like, and I'm going to throw out some like buzz terms from the business world, but, you know, KPIs, what is your key performance indicators? And how do you know that it is a key performance? And what is the indicator? And if you set goals, then what kind of metrics are you setting? And so when a student, then we always had 2-week goals. 2 weeks was just enough time where if you wanted to quit, you should quit. And I'm a huge fan of quitting, because if you're like, I would hear from my teachers like, oh yeah, this year our students are working on for the year. I'm like, for the year, what if they lose interest? They'll just BS their way through it for 9 months. And at the end let them quit. So if they're working on a project that they're like, this sucks, but I can't let Miss Poth down because she's excited for me. No, let Miss Poth go. Every 2 weeks, you can take a time out and reset and say, this project isn't working out for me. I don't like it. Great, then change. So in them setting goals, they could set maybe a semester goal, but always be open-minded enough to say your most important goals are really your next 2 weeks. If you can set goals and get your students to self-assess and set metrics like that, you're already the greatest. I mean, like, that's a huge thing that we need to teach already. And so that's what I got all sorts of excited about.
I love that. I'm trying to get it. Me too. And I gotta say, like, I always felt like this is the time of the year that I enjoyed the most. Just that liberating feeling, like all the pressure is off and just having fun when you learn. I wish that we could make the whole school year like that. And I always think I'm going to carry it on into the next school year. And it's just like that compliance nature sets in, and it's all about that, once again, procedures and all sorts of things. So what would you suggest, or advice or wisdom to share to like carry that feeling? Like, if you are able to start it, to carry it on into the beginning of the year?
Well, let's just make it simpler and say at the beginning of the year. Let's just say that, because like for a lot of teachers, if they end on this, they're not going to see them, unfortunately. So how do you start off a year with a Genius Hour? Especially at the elementary level, was, first of all, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan of Genius Hour at the elementary and middle school level. In some ways, you let them think that it's their idea. So, I did some summer workshops and I was listening to some presenters and they were talking about this like Genius Hour time. And I thought it was crazy, but they were telling me that I should give you like one day a week, like 30 or 40 minutes, and that you should tell me what you want to work on. And they had like these crazy ideas, like maybe I should give you like time to build a Minecraft village or, learn how to design new characters. And like, isn't that silly? No. And let them think that it was their idea. And they're like, well, okay, well, then what would you do? I mean, if I gave you, and I'm not saying I would, but if I gave you, 30 minutes on a Friday, and I'd even let them say what day they want it. Because I've seen, like, I've done this before where I said, hey, we can, when do you want it? And a lot of times they'll either want to have their Genius Hour on Monday to start their weekend or start their week great, or they want to do it on Friday as a reward. And the more ownership you give them, the more they're going to be like, dude, this is mine. And in some cases, they're going to be saying like, I convinced Miss Poth to do this on a Friday. That's me. Like, yeah, credit here. And so that ownership is already them. They have skin in the game. They feel excited about it. And that's the way to kind of create that culture at the beginning. And then also, especially at the middle school level, just have a discussion on what skills are hireable right now. Mm-hmm. What is important to you? And could there be something there? And then lastly, like, get them out of, like, our main theme for Innovate Within, which is our state pitch competition, is our theme is see problems as opportunities. Enough of you telling me the world sucks. Fine. What are you going to do about it? So if you said, I don't like the way this school does blank, or I don't like the way that our state does blank, or I see a problem in the world. Okay, what do you got? And how could you realistically come up with something that is scalable and that you could form a team and you could do something? Because and then even like press on them, like, how realistically could you do that? Because you're like, and I'm being somewhat facetious, but like, I had a family member that died of cancer. I hate cancer. I'm going to invent a cure for cancer. No, you're not. No, you're not. Mm-hmm. Well, Don, you should not dissuade. Yes, you should also have discussions about how you realistically. So what causes cancer? Well, let's focus on gut health. Okay, like maybe doing an event around healthy eating. Now, that thing that you talked about that you didn't like in the world, cancer, getting them to say, what could I do? Even at the elementary school level, man. But having that, mindset of how could I get this done? And quite frankly, the other part of it is just market validation. Just because you think it's a good idea, did some of your students ask parents, ask aunts and uncles? Did they do a survey monkey? Do people think that what they're up to is awesome? And then getting that feedback, and then getting the feedback of your idea isn't good, and that's okay. People said, no, change this, and not getting hurt over it, not getting your feelings crushed, but saying, okay, that's fine. We'll make some pivots.
Sorry.
That's good stuff. I know I was muted too. That's really good stuff. I love that feedback. Because I mean, gosh, I don't know. It's kind of like the antithesis of everything that we do normally.
I know. And, the one thing too, Dawn was talking about the Innovate Within, like, I love seeing anytime I'm set to the notification. So I see the students presenting and the different levels. I mean, it's so interesting to see the kids, and you could tell that they're nervous, or they're probably not the ones that were like so into it, but as they're working together, and then just how they, that after part, I forget how much time you allot or is allotted for like follow-up questions from like the panel. But I'm always amazed at like how well the kids handle those questions. And even if they don't come across as like presenting, flawlessly, like who does, but they are so prepared to answer those questions. And I'm always impressed, even if like you hear their pitch and you're like, yeah, I don't know if that idea is the greatest one ever, but the fact that they collaborate and they problem solve and they were creative and they each had responsibilities, like all of that carries over into like what they need for the future. So even if their product isn't one that people would tend to buy, what a powerful learning experience for them to work together on something like that, and to have that ability, or well, I shouldn't say ability, opportunity to present that and for me as an adult, as an educator, I don't think I would even want to do that. But for kids to do that and build their confidence like that, I'm always impressed by seeing that. So very neat.
Yeah, I think that was also the catch-22 of this being a competition, because we had hundreds, 800 plus applications. The vast majority of them were not going to make it to the second round, but that's okay, because our mission was to get students to see more problems as opportunities. And what I loved is some of the ideas were a little raw, but you could tell it's like, so I've been thinking, and they're already thinking of solutions, and not this, I think, toxic culture of social media. Everybody's to blame but you.
Right.
Man, somebody on the other side is stupid, and I'm going to type about it. Okay, what is your solution? And we got really encouraged by that. And again, like, that's also why we're encouraging all the students to like keep going. That even though you may not have went to this next round, the most important part is that those kind of learning lessons begin. And quite frankly, we're building ecosystems, because the students then that went on to the second round, they all met with their small business development center. Like, there's tons of them throughout the state. So we're wanting our students to go, okay, you've gone to that next level. We're proud of you, but start meeting people in your at least 3-county area that want to provide some mentorship support and some funding. Because that's where the leverage is. And I think, while I'm talking buzzwords, that ecosystem is your school. There are some schools now that just stand out so much in this competition, and they're good. They're dominant. Why? Because they have a culture of innovation, that they start early. They make several iterations. They keep trying. And just because they submit it once, they're like, okay, I'm done with my submission, I'm done. No. They submit ideas really early. They get feedback from the community, and they probably go through 8 or 9 different ideas before the competition ends. That is a culture. That is an ecosystem. And ironically enough, and this is my last soapbox moment, I'm seeing this more in the middle and less on the bookends. And by that, bookends, I mean, and I'm not being mean, but college preparatory places aren't necessarily this, from what I've seen, aren't necessarily an innovation-based place, because our kids go to Stanford kind of thing. Our kids get great SAT scores. Okay, understand, good. But they're not necessarily focused on things that are future. They're interested on things that have done well in the past. Then on the other bookend, you have the schools of compliance. The ones that are like, and I understand why they want just nice, well-behaved kids that aren't harming one another. I understand that. But that's also like, the rest of the world's not working that way anymore. And that is a catch-22, because again, I want safe schools. I'm not saying I don't, but just sit down, shut up, and do what I say is not preparing our students for the future at all.
Mm-mm. Definitely not. Mel? Oh.
I'm sorry, I was muted because I'm dropping all of Don's. I want people to like go specifically to his blog, to his podcast. I'm just sitting there dropping them in there. But I love everything that you're saying. It is wonderful. And I know that you are big time on Twitter. So you are always offering and putting things out there to help other teachers and educators get more into this. So yeah, and it's okay that it's a soapbox, because if you're going to have one, it might as well be something that makes life better for students and teachers and the community.
Yet at 5'8", this is all I have. I need a soapbox. So.
Too much.
That is awesome. I love
gosh.
it. Well, and so we're going to kind of wrap this up. We're going to do our fun game. So we talked a lot of serious, good stuff, but now we're going to play Would You Rather. And I heard that Rachelle has some pretty special questions. So I'm looking forward to this.
I don't want you to be disappointed, but so
I'm never disappointed.
Okay. Well, let me pull now the screen disappeared. So just a minute. Okay. So I have 2 different sets, but I pulled up because Dawn likes music and concerts. And so I decided to go with like a music edition, but I can always shift to, and I was trying to do some like innovation, technology, whatever, but
I love the music edition. Let's go.
All right.
Yes,
so,
me too.
Here we go. And some of these might be, I don't know, Mel, I might have done some of these with us before. Okay. First one. Would you rather Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones or Beat It, Michael Jackson?
Sympathy for the Devil, Stones.
I'm going to go Beat It.
I'm going to go
Child of
Beat
1980.
It. Yeah. All right.
What
Next
about
one.
you? No. What about
Me?
you?
Me?
Yeah?
I answered. I
Mhm.
said Beat It.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think there was a lag.
Look at us. We're on the
All right,
same page.
next-
I like that.
Same page. Question 2. Would you rather Bomb Track, Rage Against the Machine, or California Love by Tupac?
Tough call. California Love.
Me too.
So many great memories. Especially, Tupac.
You guys
Well.
sound pretty smart. I'm going to go with Tupac.
Okay, that's a great song. I love that song. All right, question 3. Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio or Fancy by Iggy Azalea?
Oh, that's easy. Coolio.
Coolio.
Yeah, easy.
That was part of my adolescence.
Dangerous
If
Minds.
you would have
I
said
love it.
anything,
Yeah.
I would have. If anything other than Iggy Azalea, I would have gone with Fred Flintstone singing Frank Sinatra. So
Jeez. I don't know if we can make that happen, but all right, next one. Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi. Enter Sandman, Metallica.
Oh my gosh, this disappoints me. I can't choose. I refuse to choose this one.
Those are both
Both.
great. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go Enter Sandman with a slight, like at 51%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm right there with you.
That's a good one.
All right, next
Wow.
one.
It is hard, Mel.
Mel? Are you split too?
Mel's no.
Oh, wait, the other
Our
Mel.
friend Mel.
Because I
The
can't.
other Mel is watching.
That's right, because I
don't
can't
know if
see you.
you
I'm
knew
looking at
this.
the questions.
But at one point, we had 3 Mels. Me and 2 other Mels were a part of this. So I'm just saying. Okay. I'm sorry for
know.
interrupting.
Okay. Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin. Paranoid, Black Sabbath.
Stairway for me.
Stairway.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We go from that question to Gold Digger by Kanye or Single Ladies by Beyonce.
Single lady.
Gold Digger.
Yeah, I think I'm picking Gold Digger on that one too. All right. Next one. Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry, or The Power of Love, Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, Huey Lewis, The Power of Love.
Yeah. Same. I like Huey.
Same. Me
Me
as well.
too. Gosh,
All right.
I play him a lot. That's the power of love. Okay. So
Apparently you sing him a lot too.
I do.
3 more questions. Pour Some Sugar on Me, Def Leppard, or I Want to Know What Love Is, Foreigner.
Pour Some Sugar.
Yep. It was hard, but Pour Some
Agreed.
Sugar. And I've actually got to see Def Leppard in concert.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Twist and Shout, The Beatles, Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran.
Ooh.
Duran, because that's even though I love the Beatles and was raised on the Beatles, and that was why my first introduction to music, Duran was my I think that I'm a big kid now music. I was a very confused kid. My musical idols were Duran, Prince, and the Dead Kennedys. So very confused child. So I have to go with Simon Le Bon and Company. So yes.
Nice.
I like them both. But I can't get Hungry Like the Wolf out of my head now. It's taken all my control not to scream that out.
Okay, so
Can
I ask one? Can I ask one as on behalf of the fact that I'm older than you, but I think you'll like both bands? Band, not song. On most underappreciated out of the grunge era, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam.
Oh, Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Underappreciated was okay. All right.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention
obviously
to that part.
Pearl Jam was not underappreciated.
That was a loaded question because yes.
Right.
But your favorite would be Pearl Jam. And that's a great answer too. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them in concert.
Probably why Alice in Chains was definitely underappreciated. My husband would have chosen Alice in Chains.
They're wonderful.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right. This one is the last one because I had 10 and it just a minute. I had to change. Okay. Lenny Kravitz, American Woman. Are you going to go my way?
Oh, Are You Gonna Get My Way? One of the greatest guitar riffs in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That one too.
Plus, the other one's a remake.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not really his song. If you would have said like Mama Said or Let Love Rule and Are You Gonna Get My Way, that'd have been a harder one. But American Woman isn't his remake.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And he was I feel like my senior year of high school, he was just on the charts like every single week. So he's awesome. I love Lenny Kravitz.
I like the fact that he is about 2 years older than me and looks 20 years younger. That man.
Well, money can do a lot of things.
Or eating right can do a lot of things. So.
Right.
That too.
And being able to spend a lot of hours in the day working out and getting the best, Yeah.
Thank you for making me feel a little bit better. Thank you. Yes.
Well, hey.
If I had all the money, I'd work out too.
I still wouldn't work out.
No, me neither.
I would work out doing the things I love, and I would have childcare all in place so that my children didn't feel neglected. I mean, it would be a pretty amazing world. Yes. Well, we are so glad that you came on today, Don. I have enjoyed this conversation. Rachelle, I know you did too. And I always ask our guests, is there any last words or thoughts that you'd like to share before we say goodbye?
If you have any interest in possibly replicating, and really didn't get too much time to talk about Innovate Within, but we have this statewide thing, and we're actually are now entertaining 4 other states that we might replicate this in. If you have any interest in that, please contact me. We are starting to get some amazing results, and so especially if you're in state government or have some pull with state DOE, let us know because we think we've got a realistic goal in the next 3 years to have this in at least 15 states. So we're trying to get there.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably email dwettrick@startedupfoundation.org or just find me on Twitter. I'm fairly responsive. I took like a year off because I just got tired of people's complaints, but we're back on.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. dwettrick@startedup.com is what you said?
Foundation.
Okay.
Foundation.
Okay.
.org.
This is I couldn't hold on to it. I was going to start typing it up and I couldn't hold on to it. So
I was going to type it for you.
Okay, somebody type it and I'll stick it in the comments because I think it's great. Okay.
Well, thank you guys for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was great. I'm just waiting for say it one more time, Don.
No, don't say it. I got it. I got it right here.
Okay.
I think I got it right.
Okay.
Yes. dwettrick@startedupfoundation.org. You are indeed correct.
All right. I am going to let this. Here we go. If you want to be a part of this awesome, amazing part, get a hold of Don here and he will be happy to get you connected. And everybody, will see you on Friday. Thank you again, Don. Rachelle, it was wonderful speaking with you. And we are so glad that you joined, whether it was Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. We're glad you were here with us today. And we look forward to seeing you again at the 5 o'clock on Friday. Bye, everybody.